Welcome, welcome. Oh my gosh, another amazing Monday. Before I go on, uh, this live has been sponsored by MDC, the Boost Spray for optimum energy. If you want to know more, just drop me a comment and I'll respond. Oh my gosh, what a journey. So, the question today is, what is your story? Let me start with mine. Well, I come from Mtata, and one thing I've been wanting to do for the longest time is to be in the film industry. So I came from Tata and I stayed in Stellenbosch. And fortunately for me, I managed to get in at an all Afrikaans, all Afrikaans school, which I learned photography and video production. And I did that, and then after I managed to get into film school, which is what I wanted. So everything was great. I did like, well, I mean, film school, film school, and straight out of film school, I managed to get an internship at a well-known service company based here in Cape Town, and there, that's that's where I feel the journey actually started. You see, when I came to study film, I didn't have a second option. It was either film or I'd be yelling void at ShopRite, and that was not an option for me. Like I wasn't no. So I managed to get my first project as a trainee shortly after internship, which was all great. And from then on, like you're doing what you love, you're pumped, you're ready, you're seeing all the goods, all the goods, all the opportunities. And after some time, there's this thing that I like calling the budget speech. So you get called into an interview, you are interviewed, and this is exactly how it goes. Like, oh my gosh, your CV is impressive. Like this is really good. And then the budget speech kicks in. But unfortunately, we are a very small project, and we can't give you your rate. So I mean, like at first it was like, okay, they can't give me my rate. Obviously, as I do the jobs, then I'll get the rate. It's fine. It's not a problem. And as time goes, you keep hearing the same thing. You keep hearing the same thing, and it's all like, we can't give you your rate. We can't give you your rate. You're so amazing. And then I start doubting. I genuinely start doubting. I know I can do the work. I believe I can do the work. And like people keep saying you're really good at what you do, but because I'm not getting what I feel is my value, then I question the whole system. Like, am I really as good as people say? And it does take a knock at your confidence after some time when you keep hearing the same rhetoric, and like you start wondering, like, okay, no, there's definitely something. This is either a hoax, or like I'm not as good as people tell me I am. And this is what I did. I forgot my story. I forgot that I wanted to be in the film industry. I wanted to do children's content because I came out and I got my first job. And then it became about my job. And then I prioritized my job. And then what my goal was, I kind of put it on a side banner. I put my goal on a side banner. And for the longest time, I kept on living as I was told. Like, oh my gosh, you are so amazing. But listen, we can't give you what you deem as your value because. And I started listening to it, and it made me so resentful because after some time, like we're working on like super international, I'm talking about cinema movies, like blockbusters. And you see international people, you get to work with them, and you start resenting. Like it got to a point where even when they grin and they walk by, I'm like, why are you grinning about? You are here because of me. I had to take a pay cut so that you can live this lavish lifestyle. That's how resentful I became. Because what? I forgot my story and it became about the environment that I was put in. And I was like, for the longest time, this became my story of like, I'm not really good enough because I'm not actually getting my value. And that's the thing with the system that we're working with, whether you incorporate, whether you're in the entertainment industry, like your value is diminished so that you are desperate to keep coming back and working for the big shots of this world. And that's the system that runs the world, because if you are desperate, you're going to take anything that's on offer, because you don't know your story, or because you forget your story and you prioritize what the environment is deeming you as. So this was my story until Grandpa Les reminded me. Grandpa Les said, you are a masterpiece because you are the piece of the master. And I was like, hell yeah, I am. I am a masterpiece. And this is the thing, when you are a masterpiece and you feel you are a masterpiece, everything that you do is great. Your default setting is greatness. It just comes automatically because what you believe that you are a masterpiece. And I chose to believe that I'm a masterpiece. And then I remembered my story. I remembered how I came from Tata, wanting to be in the film industry, not knowing where to go, not knowing who to ask first, because I was limited in information. But I was resourceful enough to find the information, to find the photography academy, to find the film school that I actually got my diploma, and to find the first internship that I did, and the second one, and the one that actually landed me into the service company. This was my resourcefulness because I knew my story. And I would like to encourage you as we enter this week for you to either find your story or remember your story and not be governed by your circumstances. Because once you're governed by your circumstances, then you forget. You forget what you prioritize, and then it becomes a desperate a desperation for survival. You can't live like that. That is not a way to live. Remember, you are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Your default setting is greatness. No matter what happens, no matter what you're going through right now, just remember, you are greatness. You are a masterpiece because you are the piece of the master. So as we enter this week, I encourage you to remember your story. I encourage you to live in your story, because your story is your truth. Don't live in the story of I can't do this because I can. No, find the story that makes you resilient, that makes you get up in spite of what you're going through, that makes you get up in spite of what you're being told. Remember that story that got you here. Yes, you might forget, because I even had forgotten that there was a time where in film school I couldn't afford the term. I didn't even have like a train ticket money, but I made sure that I got to school and then I would stand outside because I hadn't paid at that time. But I was resourceful enough that I knew that this is what I wanted to do with my life, and I was determined to get it. I got in, I did my diploma, and years later, I'm working in the film industry. And this is my story. And it took me a long while for me to actually remember, but because I remembered, now I know, in spite of everything that I might be going through, it's not going to stop me because I'm going to reach my goal. I'm going to do what I wanted to do. This is my story. What is your story? As we enter this week, start it on a high. Remember your story. It will get you through the week, it will get you through the month, and it will get you through the years. The reason why we keep on getting stuck is because we forget our stories. We forget why we're actually doing what we're doing. Sometimes it's not even what we want to do. We started out knowing our story and then we get sidetracked. We can listen to people. We listen to say situations like, okay, if you can't get this, then might as well. No, don't do that. Don't give in. Remember your story. And always, always know that you are a masterpiece because you are a piece of the master. Your default setting is greatness. As we enter this week, enter it in greatness. Thank you so very much for joining me. Until next time, have an awesome, awesome day and awesome week ahead.